You know, the hearings, the select committee hearings, investigation, whatever, began yesterday. And while an attempt was being made by, 6 Democrats and 2 Republicans to get to the bottom of this horror perpetrated by the filthy former president of the United States, Donald Trump, the Republicans were involved in a little clown car demonstration of their demand for justice. Only they're demanding justice for the terrorists who invaded the U.S. Capitol and took up arms against the U.S. government on January 6th. It's just amazing. Dana Milbank, in his piece in the Washington Post today, writes about these idiots. He reports that there were 6 Republican members of the House, and they were led, and this is so typical, by a man in a giant Trump costume bearing the message, Trump won. And they marched on the Justice Department yesterday afternoon to speak up for the ones that these filthy swine are calling political prisoners. I think that came right from Vladimir Putin. Political prisoners. Those are the people awaiting trial for their role, their various roles in this act of terror against the United States government on January 6th. The Republicans now call them political prisoners. What in the hell has happened to the Republican Party? He asked and then answered his own question. It's been devoured by the Christian fascists. Whoa. One of these assholes is Representative Paul Gosar. He is a Christian fascist from Arizona. These 6 clowns had a press conference outside the Department of Justice headquarters. And he said, quote, "These are not unruly or dangerous, violent criminals. These are political prisoners who are now being persecuted and bearing the pain of unjust suffering," end quote. I mean, all right, close your ears. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, who wrote that for this moron, Gosar, calling traitors against the United States who would overthrow the government, political prisoners who are now being persecuted and bearing the pain of unjust suffering? Oh, be still, my beating heart. Oh, my God. And then the most ridiculous-looking clown in the Christian fascist assemblage, and the one with the most dumb shit name, Representative Louis Gohmert of Texas. Louis speculated that, quote, "We have political prisoners here in America." And Louis Gohmert. What? Oh, my God. Where did he? Well, what did Pelosi say the other day? That Kevin McCarthy was a moron and he got his bloomers in a wad. He is a moron. All of these people, no, they give morons a bad name. These people are just trash, trafe, junk, garbage. And they're in positions of power in the United States government. And they are anticipating that power is going to increase fantastically less than a year and a half from now during the 2022 off-year elections, congressional elections. You think that's going to happen? What is going to happen? Think about it for just a moment. If the House and the Senate all of a sudden switch from being just barely under the control of Democrats into the hands of these traitorous filth, these Christian fascists, what's going to happen to this country? Anyway, we're only, 3 or 4 days away from the resurrection of Jesus's brother, Donald Trump, right? Hasn't Louis Gohmert and the rest of these clowns and the QAnon assholes, haven't they all predicted that Trump is going to be, what's the term they use, reinstated as president in August? Oh, I can't wait. Reminds me of those New Yorker cartoons with the weird-looking son of a bitch walking around the streets of New York with a sign over his shoulders that say, "The end is near." And then, of course, nothing happens. That's what these QAnon morons remind me of. They're talking about Trump will return. Oh, look, really? I mean, no, he's not. No, he isn't. Oh, God. Louis Gohmert. Anyway, these clowns yesterday, well, serious business was occurring before the House Select Committee. They were distributing copies of a letter alleging that the crumb bums, the thugs, the bastards, the January 6 defendants had been denied, quote, potentially exculpatory evidence and have been subjected to cruel and unusual punishment. Cruel and unusual punishment. Now, I'm not taking it seriously. I'm just reporting on this. These are, and thanks to Dana Milbank, these are clowns. These are murder clowns. These are the kind of clowns in the movies that fill you with terror when you see Chucky the Clown moving across the bedroom floor, ready to eat your child's leg or something. And these 6 morons, they had some supporters there. There were 20 or 30, I guess, people who were waving signs saying things like, "Free the January 6 political prisoners," and "January 6 was an inside job." No shit. Of course it was. And you're looking at 6 people who were involved in the inside job of organizing and pulling it off. What a bunch of maroons. Now, these clowns, ironically, had to cut short their defense of the traitorous scum that had been charged with crimes from January 6th because counter-demonstrators, decent people, disrupted them with heckling and whistleblowing and signs. For example, signs that said, "Traitors, sit down." Oh, my God. So these 6 morons, including the child rapist, Matt Gaetz of Florida, and the Q bitch from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and of course, Louis Gohmert of Texas, they made explicit, as Dana Milbank puts it, what has become more obvious by the day, which is Republicans stand with those who attempted a violent coup on January 6th. And it's not just the wingnuts. It's not just the real fuckheads like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz. No. House Republican leaders held a news conference before the hearing yesterday morning, bright and early, blaming the events of January 6th not on the scum and the filth that attacked the Capitol, but on the Capitol Police and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, this group of filth led by Kevin McCarthy and Jim Banks of Indiana. Kevin McCarthy, what did I say? And Stefanik, what's her name? Elise Stefanik, who replaced Representative Cheney. So the picture, if you can see this, with the Capitol Dome behind her and her fucked up associates from the House standing around her, Representative Elise, hi, I'm crazy, Stefanik of New York, who is the House Republican Conference Chair now, said this, quote, "The American people deserve to know the truth." I mean, they say these things without the trace of irony. The American people need to know the truth, that Nancy Pelosi bears responsibility for the tragedy that occurred on January 6th. The American people deserve to know the truth. Stefanik wouldn't know the truth if it came up and bit her on her bony ass. She also charged that Nancy Pelosi, quote, doesn't want a fair or bipartisan investigation, end quote. This, of course, after Pelosi went out of her way to get a nonpartisan, a committee, a group of people who are not associated with the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, the U.S. administration, independent people, an equal number of people who self-identified as Democrat, along with an equal number of people who self-identified as Republican, and let them conduct the investigation on what happened 9/11 in this country. And Stefanik and these other groveling pigs refused to go along with it. And now a Q bitch junior like Stefanik has the audacity to stand there and say that Pelosi doesn't want a fair or bipartisan investigation. Oh my God, I guess these people don't understand the word irony or what it means to be ironic or anything that even resembles the madness that they are displaying. Oy. Jim Banks, a Christian fascist from Indiana, who is one of the saboteurs that Kevin McCarthy tried to put on the Select Committee. He announced that the Capitol Police, quote, weren't trained adequately and that Nancy Pelosi is ultimately responsible, end quote. Oh, my God. Well, anyway. And then there was this moronic Republican whip, this very strange-looking guy. He looks like, I don't know, if we ever come across Bigfoot, it's going to look like Steve Scalise after a haircut. But there he was, Steve Scalise from Louisiana. I affectionately referred to him as Popeye. I really do think he ought to be checked for thyroid problems. But he repeatedly accused Pelosi of a cover-up about January 6th. A cover-up. What possible definition of cover-up would apply to Pelosi's efforts to get the truth out? But never mind. Never mind. A cover-up. And then another little cretinous bastard named Troy Nehis of Texas, he denounced Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, also Republicans, of course, for serving on the Select Committee. This little prick, Troy, said, quote, those Pelosi Republicans aren't interested in the truth. We're interested in the truth. This is a son of a bitch that probably learned to walk upright in the Texas hills about 2 weeks ago. They're not interested in the truth. We're interested in the truth. OMFG. So 7 of the 8 Republican swine standing there had voted down an independent bipartisan commission negotiated by the top Republican on the House Homeland Security Committee, with the blessings of the filthy, stinking Kevin McCarthy. And now they claim Pelosi is the one blocking a bipartisan investigation, and at the same time faulting the Capitol Police, who at that very moment of January 6th, shielded these pigs with a ring of officers and barriers and vehicles trying to protect their filthy asses, their fascistic asses. Oh, my God. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.